A red card for a tackle? No. A red card for violent conduct? Not this time. At the 2026 World Cup, former Newcastle star Miguel Almiron made history for a reason almost nobody saw coming. He became the first player at the tournament to be sent off for covering his mouth while speaking to an opponent. Yes, covering his mouth. It happened during Paraguay's crucial Group D clash with Turkey at Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, and within seconds, confusion turned into controversy. Almiron looked stunned. Paraguay's players were furious. Turkey were demanding action, and referee Ivan Barton was suddenly walking toward the VAR monitor to check one of FIFA's newest and least known rules. This was not just another World Cup flashpoint. This was the moment a hidden rule became headline news. Paraguay had started the match perfectly. Just 2 minutes in, Matias Galarza gave them the lead, putting Turkey under immediate pressure in a game they badly needed to survive. For Paraguay, this was a chance to keep their knockout hopes alive. For Turkey, it was already becoming a desperate fight. And as the first half moved into stoppage time, the tension exploded. The incident began when Paraguay striker Isidro Pita went down after a clash with an opponent. Turkey's players did not believe he was seriously hurt. They angrily claimed he was faking and shouted for him to get back to his feet. That sparked an intense confrontation. Paraguay players rushed in to defend their teammate. Turkey players pushed back. Voices were raised. Bodies crowded together. The match suddenly felt like it was slipping out of control. Then, in the middle of the chaos, Turkey defender Mert Muldur started urgently signaling to referee Ivan Barton. He was pointing toward his mouth. At first, it looked strange, but Muldur knew exactly what he was asking for. He wanted the referee to check whether Miguel Almiron had broken FIFA's new anti-abuse rule. That rule bans players from covering their mouths while speaking to opponents during confrontational exchanges. It was introduced to stop discriminatory or offensive comments from being hidden during heated moments on the pitch. And now, in a World Cup match, that rule was about to change everything. Barton stopped the game and went to the VAR monitor. The replays showed Almiron speaking to Muldur while covering his mouth. The referee watched it back, made his decision, and returned to the pitch. Then came the shock. Direct red card. Miguel Almiron was sent off. The former Newcastle winger looked completely baffled. His teammates could barely believe it, but under the new regulation, the decision stood. Paraguay were leading 1-0, but now they had to survive the rest of the match with 10 men. This rule did not appear out of nowhere. It came after a controversial Champions League knockout match between Real Madrid and Benfica in February. During that game, Real Madrid star Vinicius Jr. claimed Benfica player Gianluca Prestiani made racist remarks while covering his mouth. Prestiani denied the accusation. But the incident sparked wider concern over players hiding what they say during heated confrontations. So FIFA moved to close that loophole. After the rule was approved at a special International Football Association board meeting in April, FIFA adopted it for the 2026 World Cup. The goal was clear: prevent abusive, discriminatory, or offensive language from being concealed on camera. But for many fans watching Paraguay against Turkey, the first major enforcement of the rule came as a major shock. Because Almiron was not shown a red card for a challenge, he was not sent off for throwing a punch. He was dismissed because he covered his mouth while speaking during a confrontation. And suddenly, a rule that many supporters barely knew existed became one of the biggest talking points of the tournament. The timing made it even more dramatic. Paraguay were only 1 goal ahead. Turkey were pushing. The match had become emotional, physical, and tense. And now Paraguay had to defend that slim lead with 1 fewer player, knowing one mistake could destroy their hopes of reaching the knockout rounds. Turkey attacked in waves. Paraguay dropped deeper. Every clearance mattered. Every tackle mattered. Every second felt heavier. But despite the red card, despite the pressure, and despite the controversy, Paraguay held firm. They protected their 1-0 lead until the final whistle. When it was over, Paraguay had their victory. A 1-0 win over Turkey, sealed by Matias Galarza's early goal, gave them renewed hope of reaching the knockout rounds ahead of their next Group D match against Australia. But Turkey were left with the opposite feeling. The defeat eliminated them with 1 game still to play. And while the result mattered, the biggest story was impossible to ignore. Miguel Almiron had become the first World Cup player sent off for breaking FIFA's new mouth-covering rule. For Paraguay, it was a victory wrapped in controversy. For Turkey, it was the end of their World Cup dream. And for every player still in the tournament, it was a warning. At this World Cup, cameras are watching everything. VAR is checking more than tackles and handballs. and one instinctive gesture covering your mouth during a heated exchange can now end your match in an instant. The game has changed. And Miguel Almiron just became the first player to learn that lesson the hard way.